Hey, what's up, everyone? Ralph here. So we all know how difficult it is for anyone to afford a home, right? And you really don't know how difficult it is until you start actually searching for it. What makes it also more frustrating is when you start actually running the data and find out who can actually qualify for it, right? So according to this article on Post Millennial, it says Americans need a six-figure salary to afford a median price home, right? And the last time I checked, the median household income is $75,000. So that means the majority of Americans just can't afford a home, right? And what's frustrating, I think frustrates a lot of people is that, a lot of people are trying to purchase homes on their own. And I've said this before that if you're going to try to especially in the United States, if you're going to try and do things on your own, it's extremely difficult, right? Almost impossible, right? You're going to need a spouse, you're going to need a family member, you're going to need friends, you're going to need someone else to try to do this, because doing things on your own is very difficult. Like even for myself, me and my brother, we're actually looking for property, right? And if you see a property that you like, it gets snatched up. That's in good condition. It gets snatched up very quickly. So it's clearly we have a supply and demand problem, and the only way that's going to help is if we can increase supply. And the only way you're gonna do that is if more people are building, if more people are building homes, which isn't happening that much, or people are gonna sell homes. But people aren't selling their homes. Why? Because of interest rates. Most people have, like, a lot of people have 2 to 3% interest rates. So it doesn't make sense for them to then go to sell their property and then buy a new home with a 7% interest rate. It doesn't make sense financially. So a lot of people are holding on to their properties, and there's not a lot of properties hitting the market. So when you have demand as high as it is and supply as low as it is, you're going to get increased prices. And if there's any homes that does hit the market, they get snatched up pretty quick. So it's leaving a lot of people frustrated and struggling and not being able to go and get the property, buy a home, which a lot of people, for a lot of people, is the American dream, right? People feel like if they can't buy a home, they're not living that American dream. So it makes it difficult and extremely frustrating for people when it comes to having hope, when it comes to working, especially when people are, feel like they're not getting paid enough with their jobs. It just, when you put all these things together, it keeps people hopeless and demoralized, feeling that they can't accomplish and they can't move forward. So, like I said, you got to work. If you're going to try to survive in this economy, man, you're gonna have to bust your butt, and you're gonna have to really think differently. And when it comes to, if you're someone that's just looking to build wealth or just trying to get ahead. So let's look at this article on the Post Millennial, and it talks about how Americans need a six-figure salary to afford a median priced home. So it says, all right, so the average U.S. home now requires a six-figure salary to afford, marking it a significant increase compared to pre-pandemic levels, according to a study on Bankrate. The study reveals that the average home buyer needs to earn $110,000 annually to afford the median price home in 22 states. This represents a substantial jump from January 2020, when the average home buyer only needed to make approximately $75,000, which is a 46% increase. During the same period, median home prices have surged from $290,000 to $412,000, marking it a 42% increase. And I can attest to that. Like the homes that I'm looking at, man, they're around that age. I mean, you can find some, depending on the condition of the property, anywhere from 350 to 420, depending on the area. But the areas that where I'm at is it's around that 400 range. So depending on where you live, it could be extremely difficult for a lot of people. So it says Jeff Ostrowski, Bankrate housing market analyst, identifies affordability as the primary challenge, attributing to the record high home values. He emphasizes the difficulty of meeting down payment requirements and monthly payments, particularly as home prices continue to soar. Home values are near record highs, and if you want a house, you have a little choice but to pay a high price. Liberal-run states such as California, Massachusetts, Hawaii, Washington require the highest income, with homeowners needing to earn between $156,000 and $197,000. Conversely, states like Mississippi, Ohio, Arkansas, Indiana, and Kentucky require significantly lower homes, ranging from $63,000 to $65,000. And I got friends in Massachusetts, man. The houses there are ridiculous, man. The houses are so expensive over there, and people make pretty much high salaries over there in Massachusetts, but still, like, a lot of people talk about how difficult it is just to purchase a home up there. So certain states, depending on the states, it's gonna be hard. You're gonna have to make a lot of money just to afford some of these properties in these states. So it says one key factor contributing to higher income threshold is the steep increases in mortgage rates, which have risen by over 3% in just the past 4 years. As a result, prospective buyers face greater financial barriers to home ownership, particularly in regions with already high housing costs. Another factor is the current shortage of houses, with many homeowners who bought houses prior to the pandemic refusing to sell to avoid the rising mortgage rates. Like I said before, it's like if you're someone that owns a home and you want to sell your home, it doesn't make sense because you have a 2-3% interest rate, and then to purchase another home where it's at 7%. Like you're looking. I mean, that's a huge jump in your mortgage payment. So people are just holding on to their properties, waiting to sell, hopefully waiting for the feds to cut rates. But I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. And if it does, I mean, you're probably talking about no more than they're talking about 0.25%, maybe a 0.5% cut. If any. I mean, they said they're gonna be three. They said it should be like at least 3 cuts today. But who knows when that's gonna happen or if that's gonna happen, depending on how inflation rates go. So it says the study comes at a time when a majority of Americans say they are worse off financially than before President Biden took office, according to a poll by Fox News. 52% of Americans say they are financially worse than they were 4 years ago, with only 22% saying they're better off. Over the past few years, the supply of homes have been constrained by a number of factors, including muted home building and lock-in effort, says Ostrowski. But demand for homes has been growing, and there are more buyers than sellers, and that's the fact. Like you see that. Like I said before, we're looking for homes, property to purchase, and if you see a nice one out there, man, they snatch it up very quickly. Right? You can't waste no time out there. And of course, for a lot of people, you ask people how they're doing now, they're definitely were better off 4 years ago than they are today, especially with inflation the way it is. So for a lot of people, like just purchasing a home seems like a dream, and that for a lot of people, it's frustrating. And you can see it all over people talking about all over social media. You watch the news, people are talking about how difficult it is, how expensive everything is, and how so many people are living paycheck to paycheck, and they feel like they just can't get through. So like I said, it takes a lot doing. If you're someone that's going to do it by yourself, it's extremely difficult. If you can like find somebody else to do it, if you can find someone like to partner up with and purchase properties with them, someone that you trust, is of course. If not, then it's going to be hard for you to do that, and for a lot of people it's frustrating. I understand that frustration. So you got to think differently. You got to focus on trying to increase your income, develop more skills, because there's ways around it. Like you can do it. Is it going to be difficult? Is it going to be tough? Yes, it's going to be tough, but you can do it. You just have to believe that you can do it, and you got to develop those new skills, and then find ways to translate those skills into higher income, and then go from there. Because do I see it getting better anytime soon? Probably not. The way the government spends money the way they do, I don't see it. So you got to adapt, you got to adjust, and it's a reality that we all have to deal with. It sucks, but it's just something we got to deal with. So those are my thoughts. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Make sure you leave a comment down below, hit the like button and share. And if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe. All right, so you guys take care and have a good one. Later.